So what's really interesting about this is you have a lot of conversation about assault weapon ban, or and that is the assault weapon ban. The thing that's interesting and frustrating from a gun standpoint, the real issue is the magazine. The magazine is the issue because an AR-15 is just a semi-automatic rifle, like a lot of, for example, deer rifles are. What makes the AR-15 something extra is that it usually comes with a bigger magazine. So a 20 round or a 30 round magazine, which means you can fire 20 or 30 times without changing magazines. It makes the weapon far more deadly. So the real issue here, whenever you hear assault weapons, it's not really the rifle, it's the magazine that they're talking about. So this is a really, really important issue when it comes to firearm regulation. And so to be very clear, when you're talking about a large capacity magazine, if you're talking about a 10 round magazine, that is less than the standard capacity for a lot of semi-automatic handguns that you would purchase in the United States. So a Glock 19 or a Ruger SR9 or something like that. Depending on where you are, the standard capacity magazine for that might be 15 rounds, 17 rounds, 19 rounds. So what this actually is doing is it's limiting a large number of weapons sold. It's limiting the magazines to a smaller magazine than is standard for a lot of weapons sold in the United States. So Sarah, the quickest and easiest way to think about the difference between a clip and a magazine is that a clip usually is used to load a magazine. But the magazine is the thing you insert into, say, the AR-15, usually metal, sometimes plastic, usually metal, almost always metal. I don't know if I've seen a plastic magazine going into a handgun, but not saying it doesn't happen. So the magazine is what you insert into the weapon. Some guns have an internal magazine, but just think of it this way: clip helps load a magazine. And literally, if you say clip when it's actually a magazine, people will get super angry. And yeah, and I was dumb enough one time years ago in National Review, even though I know that when you're talking about a Glock or a AR-15, you're talking about a magazine. Although I'm less certain about the precise definition of a clip, I am certain about the a magazine. And one time I just used the word clip, and my gosh, the comments, and yeah. So anyway, yeah. So when you're talking about here and I think it's very important for the whole rest of the conversation to define this, because what you're not talking about are unusual items. Okay, these are very common. A magazine that is more than 10 rounds is extremely common. I'm talking millions upon millions upon millions of these things are in circulation. So why is this important? It's in common use for a lawful purpose. Okay, self-defense, for example. And so that is going to be very important to the dissent in this case. It's common use, lawful purpose. And so a lot of these acts that say are banning like large capacity magazines, they kind of are misleading in that they make you think they're unusual capacity magazines when they're very usual capacity. Now, you could have a ban on large capacity magazines that would ban truly unusual magazines. There are some custom magazines that you can get, for example, for AR-15s. It's like a drum style that holds a huge number of bullets. But this is normal. These are very, very normal magazines, and that's very important for all that follows.